Thanks for that introduction there. I don't know where to start. I've coached a lot of athletes that are in this room tonight, and really enjoyed my time as a coach. You go to work every day, and you just you get to deal with a lot of just great people, fantastic people, and here I am as their coach. I'm pushing them to levels they haven't gone before, and they do it, and they get there, and they work hard at it, and it's just amazing for me to see that kind of dedication in people, so as their coach, I felt like I was blessed every day, being there and being able to help them reach their goals. I did want to say tonight, when I'm given an award and inducted into this the Hall of Fame, I feel like one thing that a lot of my athletes probably have forgotten is that I also was an athlete, and so I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit, not to belabor it, but when people run in the Olympics and you see the runners, the sprinters come across and they win, and Lewis Johnson interviews them, our guy Lewis Johnson. When he interviews them, a lot of times they'll say things like, "I'm just truly blessed. I'm truly blessed to be here," and things like that. And I want to say that's the way I feel tonight. I'm just truly blessed. I thank God that I was given the ability to be an athlete, and I put the time in to be that athlete, and trained hard, and really enjoyed being an athlete in my career. In high school, I was going to play baseball or football or basketball. Those were my sports. Every season was a different sport, and I loved that. And I remember little by little, I switched from these sports, and I went towards track. I was always fast, but I had experience one time. I pitched a baseball game. I was in C-ball, and I pitched the game. I pitched a no-hitter, and I scored a run. I got 2 hits, and I scored a run, and we lost the game. And that was the last time I played baseball. It just seemed like it was too hard. You had to count on a lot of other people for that sport. And when I got into track, Mr. Young from Oak Hills High School talked to me coming out for track and field, said I could be good, and I got out there. And the one thing I realized pretty early on was it didn't really have a lot to do with other people in the 200 or in the 400 and the different events. That I kind of controlled those events, and I felt good about that. I felt good that if I put out the effort in the 400, that I could win the event. And so I worked at it a little bit. I wasn't always as good as I wanted to be. I was very hard on myself. Probably as hard on my athletes too, to come to think of it. But the things I did were never really quite good enough. I always wanted to do a little better. And I remember my senior year, I was in Cincinnati. I felt good. I felt good about the fact that in Cincinnati I was ranked in the 100, the 200, the 400, and the long jump and the high jump, and about 3 or 4 relays, or maybe 5 relays. And I felt very good about that. But you go to the state meet, and then there's all these all these other cities show up, like Cleveland and Columbus, and they have really great people also. So I remember I ran my state meet. I won state meet in the 440 in high school, and it was a surprise to, I think, everybody but me and my uncle. Back in those days, we ran the 400 to 440 at Ohio State, and so we were in the stadium, and people used to bet in the stadium. I don't know if you guys know that, but people used to bet on people up in the stadium, and it's kind of interesting. My uncle went there. It's my family. My mom and dad and my aunt and uncle were there to watch me, and I didn't know my uncle that well at that time. I was in high school. I really didn't know him that well. He seemed like kind of a gruff guy, and he had something to do with trucking, where he would, he had a trucking company, and he was a person who saw the loads go out and come in on things like that. I didn't understand that too much, but I was surprised. My uncle apparently was up in the stands betting on me. and apparently it was getting pretty good odds. And so at the end of the day, I was, my family. I came back. My family congratulated me. And then my uncle told me that he was taking us all out to dinner. And so it kind of surprised me a little bit. But I was blessed. I was able to go to UC and run for UC. I was able to, in the national meets, I represented UC in 7 out of 8 seasons. I ran the 400, and I got into the decathlon, and another team member, Phil Scott, was teaching me how to do the decathlon, which is interesting because later I learned that Phil Scott really didn't know that much about field events and things. And after UC, I was interested in training for the decathlon, and I went a few places to find a good coach. I went to Houston. I went down there because of Tom Tellez. He's a great coach down there in Houston. I was able to train with fantastic people down there. I met some just tremendous people. Bill Collins was a sprinter. I ran for the U.S. Bob Kaufman was down there. He's a great decathlete. Most people don't know about him, but he was ranked #1 in the world in 1980. And he's a very, very interesting person, and I had a chance to train with him. I went out to San Diego, and I trained out in San Diego for a while. I had a chance to train with some great athletes out there. A biomechanics expert, Yuris Tarads, who was he was from the Ukraine, and he did not like to be called a Russian. He's from the Ukraine. And I had a chance to train with Daley Thompson from Britain, trained out in San Diego State. Who's world record holder in the decathlon. So, and other people, a lot of crazy pole vaulters out there. They're always doing crazy things in a pole vault. So I got a lot of my pole vault drills from these guys. They were vaulting off of VWs and things like that, and doing all kinds of stuff that was a little nuts, but seemed to be effective in some ways in teaching people things. I went to the 84 trials, and I had a bad day. I was actually sick the day before the trials, and I didn't do well. I expected to get in the top 3. I thought I was second at the time, and so I got out there and I didn't do well, and so decided to start a family instead, come back to Cincinnati. My wife and I came back to Cincinnati, and we started developing our family, and a job opened up at UC, my alma mater, and Bill Schnur was here, and he took me on as his assistant, which I'm very grateful for. It was kind of odd that, with Bill and I working at UC, a lot of times people ask me if he's my older brother or my father. A lot of times. I told him that you just had to have one vowel difference in the last name, and it's a completely different family. But I don't think they believe me on that one. But I was able to take a lot of things that I learned from trying to find a good coach and from having good coaching, and I was able to take that, and like I said, I love coaching. I love coaching the field events. I love coaching the pole vault. Very dangerous, but we had a lot of fun doing it. Had a lot of great vaulters at UC. A lot of good decathletes, heptathletes. Some of the best are in this room right now, and I just wanted to thank them also. I know a lot of times I would try to hold people to things, and maybe sometimes Mary too. I would try to hold people to things and make them stretch a little bit, and the best people were able to do that. They actually stretched a whole lot, and were able to really develop themselves and become the best that I thought they could be. And I was always probably a fairly tough judge on that, but I really thank those people, because I think it's amazing sometimes what they were able to do for themselves. So lastly, I want to thank Greater Cincinnati Running Club Hall of Fame. I'm very fortunate to be in this Hall of Fame, and I want to thank people for it. And I'm sorry. Lastly, I want to thank my wife, Denise. She was with me during my trials and tribulations in Houston and in Southern California, and she, it was a lot of tough work and a lot of trying times out there, and she stayed with me through all of it, and so I was very blessed. She's a great cook. That's always a good thing. Got to say that. And so I was very blessed to have somebody, stay with me through this all, and carry poles and shot puts and things like that. And so I really can't thank her enough. I think she realizes that. Thank you.